तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति भूरिदा जनाः. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is telling how there is one reality and its manifestations are innumerable. Brahman alone is addressed as the mother. This is because mother is the object of great love. Each one of us, what is dear to us, what is most respectable to us, what stands as our ideal, what stands as our ultimate goal, what we want to be ultimately, to see God in that and that in God is the way to evolve. So evolution is possible when we hold our ideal as the supreme and the ultimate. Someone asked why there are so many gods in Hinduism. I said, we have many waves. Why there are many waves in the ocean? They asked me why there are so many gods in Hinduism. I said, why there are many waves in the ocean? Ocean is one ocean, many waves. We worship ocean and many waves. Each wave represents the whole ocean. And many manifestations of the same ocean. Each wave is a manifestation of, can we limit the waves? Is one wave exactly similar to other? But they are all waves. One material again and again appearing in different waves, different ways as different waves. Like that we worship every wave and the ocean. You worship only one wave because you are seeing through a small hole, pinhole, one wave you are viewing. Remove that pinhole through which you are seeing, you will see innumerable waves. You will worship the ocean in varieties of ways. Every wave reflects the same ocean in a different way. How nice it is to see the vastness of God and various manifestations. We can hold on to one wave, dive into it, love it, and dive into it, and reach the same ocean. you can see innumerable waves, and any wave you like, you may dive into. Which attracts you most, which safeguards all your interests, which gives fulfillment to you, is the most important part of existence. So we love every wave, we love the ocean. In various ways we are worshipping. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling, what you call as Brahman, I call as Mother, because that is the most liked by human beings for security, for fearlessness, for fulfillment of all nourishment, for taking care and giving concern in every development of yours. What is needed is absorption in God, loving Him intensely. What is needed is absorption in God. Absorption. Meditation is a process in which we alternatively go into absorption and concentration. Absorption and concentration. Absorption is like children viewing television. How they get absorbed? If you give a mobile cell phone, they have forgotten the rest of the world, where they are, what they are doing. Mother calling 100 times also, they are not able to hear. They are absorbed. They are absorbed. The absorption is what captures your heart, what captures your attention, what captures your interest. So the main thing is get absorbed in God. Get absorbed in God. That is, you flow like a sponge is there. If you pour water on it, it gets absorbed. And if you squeeze the sponge again, you see the water coming out. So you get absorbed means your love should make you flow into God, and you should get absorbed in God. When it is possible, only when you flow out yourself as love. Love is the bridge. Love is from where you start. Love is the bridge. And love is the end. You flow across the love, through the love, with the help of the love. And as you reach, you see the whole love is also getting absorbed in God. Loving Him intensely. What is needed is absorption in God, loving Him intensely. Loving Him intensely. How do you get absorbed in God? Loving Him intensely. The nectar of lake is the nectar of immortality. Sri Ramakrishna is telling these words. The nectar of lake is nectar of immortality. Nectar, the term used is amrita. Immortality is amritatva, where there is what we call in Sanskrit, Hinduism or Indian languages, nectar is what makes you cross over death. Amrita. Brita is death. Amrita, where there is no death, means there is no cycle of birth and death. There is no touch of karma. You are beyond the karmic cycle. karmic law doesn't apply to you anymore, and nature cannot bind you anymore. You are free. All the happiness, joys, and sorrows of life, if you want, is at your will. You want to pretend to be an ordinary being, you can pretend without being get caught in the network of Maya or network of karma, karmic cycle. You are free. You can have birth or without birth you can remain. You can merge in the absolute. You can remain as a devotee or as a jnani in the realm of transcendental, where there is neither time nor space, but love and love alone, bliss and bliss alone, peace and peace alone. So where there is bliss, peace, love, absolute, in that realm you can remain eternally, retaining any kind of attitude with God. The life eternal begins when you transcend the nature. And to transcend the nature and go beyond, you have to be free from the karmic cycle. And how do you become free from the karmic cycle? Is by realizing God, by knowing the reality beyond. So that is the lake of immortality, whereas there is no more death or birth. There is no sukha or dukkha, but eternal bliss. And if you want, you can come to the relative existence and play here, move about here. If you want to go to the transcendental, you can enter into transcendental. If you want to possess a body, you can possess. If you don't want it, you can discard at your will. Just like you are wearing clothes and taking away, changing clothes, all this not governed by nature according to your karma. It is governed by you according to your will, freely. Sometimes father wants to play with children. They want to enjoy the company of children. So we see father becoming like a child and playing with children. He will sit with the toys and plays. Like that, a realized soul comes down to the level of the ordinary jivas to live and make them grow to full-fledged people of realization. Just like father plays with child to make him develop, to help his growth to become a full-fledged man. A realized soul, Jivan Mukta, comes down and starts moving with the ordinary people like ordinary people to make them again realized souls, again Jivan Muktas. That is immortality. If in the nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet, my mind remains immersed in the above song of little use or worship, oblations and sacrifice. Referring to this song, Sri Ramakrishna is telling these words. If at all my mind is able to get absorbed in the lake of nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet, that is, if I have attained the immortality. Some people believe that by thinking of God too much, the mind becomes deranged. But that is not true. God is the lake of nectar of ocean of immortality. He is called the immortal in Vedas. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. God is like, some people believe that Thinking of God too much, the mind becomes deranged. But that is not true. Many people have this feeling. If my child or husband or wife, if they start doing a lot of spiritual practices, going to ashramas or sadhus, uh, it will get slowly, they'll be influenced by them. They may go away, one fear, uh, and their mind may get deranged. They sometimes we feel what is not there, we superimpose. Often we see people who have read too much of medicine or psychology or psychiatrists. Psychiatrist will never see any person anymore in his life normal. Each one he has attached something because he has studied only abnormal psychology. The abnormal is a part of the psychiatrist studies varieties of abnormalities. And in each one, you will see some kind of abnormality, and that they attach it to some psychic problems. Just keep a vessel harshly, by mistake or purposefully, they give it. It's attached. It is so normal, it is so natural. Suppose I am angry, I keep a thing harshly, then it is considered as a particular kind of mental problem. Similarly, a person who thinks himself to be sane and other person who is doing spiritual practices as something abnormal, because whole world is moving towards possession and enjoyment. Any deviation from that towards the spiritual things, a little of calm and uninvolved witness to do all activities with absolute uninvolvement, with purity of mind, they think it to be abnormal, not natural. But it is otherwise. It is the process of evolution. As we get inner calmness, as we move towards sattva, our image in the rajas and tamas decreases. I am more awake to the reality. So this world of passing events, he doesn't value. He sees inner peace, inner joy, and welfare of all beings. It is no more a self-centered life. It is God-centered life. It is social structure, global-centered life of exclusive love and concern about others, and love and dedication towards God. So this they think, because each one expects you to be self-centered. Self-centered life is different. Selfish life and self-centered life. This is what we normally call as natural and normal way of living. When a person deviates from this towards his own spiritual evolution, towards inner freedom, towards the transcending nature, it looks like abnormality. He is calm towards others, calm towards things, more absorbed in the higher ideals, and just like a student, when he goes to the play school in the beginning, playing is more important for that child. All attention is on his play, less of studies. As he goes to higher and higher, his play decreases. When he is in first standard, When teacher is turning towards board to write something, blackboard, then children will make mischief among themselves and play something. And the play which they were playing in play school before joining school was different type of play. Here also little play and mischief continues, but in the absence of teacher and in the absence of teacher's attention, to that extent it remains. As the classes they advance, you see they become more and more serious. The play is alone decreasing. The knowledge, the understanding capacity, the thinking capacity, all is increasing. The play now remains exclusively to the playground. No more play wherever they sit, and there may be a little fun, but play is exclusively. Suppose a 10th standard boy or a college going person, you cannot expect him to be playing or making mischief or fun in the classroom. But when they come out, they will have little fun. When teacher is not there, they will have fun. But play is exclusively playground. Like that, the evolution makes him a little playfulness has gone, seriousness has come in life. The self-centered and selfish life to look into its one's own living has expanded. His heart has expanded to the neighbors. His heart has expanded to the society. His heart has expanded to the divine beyond. So his behavior, his interest in the world, all others have to follow that step of evolution, evolutionary process. And finally you see he is enlightened. He is free from all bondages and sufferings of this world forever. This is the path. This is the purpose of human life. He is moving towards immortality. All others who think themselves to be normal, natural, you see, they are succumbing to the birth and death cycle, and death is the consequence without any attainment. So man becomes immortal. People think that Sri Ramakrishna is telling here. Some people believe that by thinking of God too much, the mind becomes deranged. But it is not true. God is like lake of nectar, the ocean of immortality. From mortality, when he is going towards immortality, there are tremendous changes in the awareness of the individual. It is no more limited to the bodily limits and family limits. It is expanding. It is expanding. It is not leaving the family. It is not leaving the duties of life. It is expanding. The field of activity, field of thought, field of feelings, all are expanding towards immortality. It one day crosses the limits of nature and goes beyond. He is called God. God is like lake of nectar, the ocean of immortality. He is called immortal in the Vedas, Amrita, Amritasya Putraha. You are the children of immortality. God is called immortal in the Vedas. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. Getting immersed in God, he doesn't get limited to the bodily existence anymore. He becomes immortal. He becomes immortal means he realizes his real self. We are immortal beings. We are all pervading, but we have a center. We have made a center where we dwell in. The center of dwelling, we have made it a bodily existence. Just like there is an emperor, a vast empire which includes so many kingdoms, so many kings are under it, so many kingdoms come under one large empire. He is emperor. Emperor is like all pervading the entire empire, all kings, all kingdoms. He is pervading. His interest lies in all this. His authority is over the entire empire. Now, but he himself is living in his palace. Though he lives in the palace, though his court is within the palace, his interest, his power, his authority, his control, his governance is over the entire empire, as if he himself is pervading the entire empire. But he dwells in the palace, in a court, and suppose he starts identifying himself only with the palace in which he lives. I am this palace, if he says, how it looks. His emperor thinking himself to be the palace itself, not even the emperor in the palace. That's what has happened to us. We are all pervading, all authority. We are beyond this universe, pervading this universe as spirit. We are the basis of this entire universe. We are emperors of here and beyond. Yet we have made our center of living, center of our existence in this body, like the emperor living in the palace. We are living, but we have the empire of the entire universe and beyond. Just because I am dwelling here in this body, made this body as the center of my living, not even I, the center of my living, dwelling, and I pervade the universe. No, because this is center, if I say I am the body, how mean it looks, you see. This is what we have become. We have identified with the body and living as this body. Now, loving God, realizing Him, we are getting back our lost identity that we are immortal. We have become mortal by identifying with the body. Because of the bodily identity, I have birth and death. Because if I get my real identity as all pervading, where is death? Where is birth? I have lost my identity and got a false identity of being body. I get back my real identity. Getting back this real identity is immortality. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. No more death and no more birth for one who is there forever. Of little use are worship, oblations, and sacrifice. When you become immortal, one with God, when you get your identity of all pervading, who will offer whom to where? So all this play ends. That is there a thing other than God to take and offer to God? When you see God everywhere, in everything, yourself everywhere, in everything, what is there to offer? And to whom shall I offer when you see one reality? Formerly, This was the only way. I had to do the worship, get up in the morning and do worship. I had to repeat the name of God. I had to meditate because I was identified with the body and seeing duality. I thought myself separate from all the rest of the existence. But the separation was only a delusion created by my own mind. Did I feel that separation when I was in deep sleep? Will I be able to see separation from the rest when I enter into samadhi, superconscious state of reality? No, we don't see the difference. We have one reality, one experience, one seeing. And this is Sri Ramakrishna says that you get back your identity as immortality by diving yourself deep into the reality. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.